Cocaine was found in the system of Len Bias, but at this hour, Leland Memorial Hospital in Maryland is listing cause of his death as a heart attack.
He just achieved his main goal in life, which was to be drafted by the Celtics and high by the Celtics. And he achieved it. He was one of the most happy people that you ever want to see.
Last Thursday, Len Bias was in the Bay Area as a guest of the Golden State Warriors. At 6:45, we will talk live with the Warriors team physician who administered Len Bias a physical examination, and we expect to have a live report from Boston, the city which would have been Len Bias's professional home.
That's a sad story. Thank you very much, Gary Radnich.
Len Bias, as he ambled down an Oakland Coliseum corridor and muttered to us, "That's a man. There is no better athlete in America." Len Bias died this morning at the age of 22. The cause is being described as a heart attack. Tuesday, the 6'8" University of Maryland All-America fulfilled a lifelong dream when the world champion Boston Celtics made him their #1 draft choice, the second player chosen overall. Bias possessed all the physical skills from which NBA standouts are made. Celtic President Red Auerbach labeled him the most talented player in the 1986 draft. Bias was struck this morning at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time in his Maryland dormitory room. Roughly 2 hours later, he was pronounced dead at Maryland's Leland Memorial Hospital.
Sad, but I'm not even worried because I know where Leonard is. I know he's in heaven. And I'm going to miss him, and I know everybody else here will too. And I really can't say a whole lot more except I love you, Leonard, and I'll miss you. I'll see you in heaven one day.
For the Boston reaction to the sudden death of Len Bias, we shift live to Boston, where standing by is a man generally regarded in NBA circles as the sport's most astute basketball writer, Bob Wolf of the Boston Globe. Bob, there are reports out of Maryland that traces of cocaine were found in the system of Len Bias. What do your findings indicate?
I have heard that information from various sources, and I can only say that from the outset, one had to suspect drug usage simply because there were so many loose ends to the story.
All right, Bob, let me apologize. I called you Bob Wolf. That, of course, Larry Bird's agent. That Bob Ryan of the Boston Globe. Bob, let me touch upon the Celtics sentiment. You were close to the scene today. If you could give us a little bit of Red Auerbach's feelings.
Well, see, this was not a draft choice taken out of the catalog, taken off the shelf. This was a flesh-and-blood player that Red Auerbach had cultivated for over 2 years. Red had a personal relationship with Len Bias that had a lot to do with his being drafted. Last year, when Len Bias was contemplating coming out of the University of Maryland as an early entry candidate, Red went to dinner with Len Bias and his parents and counseled him the pros and cons and advised him to stay in school. He has known this kid for over 2 years. He had him at his camp as a counselor, and therefore is a very serious personal loss for Red and for the rest of the Celtics.
All right, Bob, hang on with us if you will, as we are going to be joined now by Golden State Warrior team physician Tom Schmidt. Dr. Schmidt, can you reveal your findings from your examination last week of Len Bias?
I saw Len Bias last week on the 11th. He went through the standard physical examination, including complete physical by myself. I listened to his heart. I got an EKG. The chest x-ray was gotten by Dr. Scott in New York, and I didn't find anything that, from the standpoint of the Golden State Warriors, that we would have drafted him. He was able to be drafted. As far as I was concerned, and he's a healthy ball player, and he did not have any imperfections from a orthopedic or medical standpoint.
So from your findings this afternoon, Len Bias then did indeed die of a heart attack.
Well, that's what I'm told. They aren't from my findings. I'm just told through the press that he died of a heart attack.
Bob, let me press you on the subject again of cocaine, if we will. For the umpteenth time, the cocaine has been a question in the downfall of an athlete. Again, we can't confirm it on Len Bias. Do you think, if indeed, though, cocaine was found in the system of Len Bias, that this will do something towards NBA players and maybe take them away from this drug that has hurt a number of players in the past couple of years?
Well, Gary, you don't know what's going through the players' minds. They should have learned a lot from the stories of Michael Ray Richardson and John Lucas, particularly the Lucas case, because there's a very astute individual, and you don't know what's going on. I would only hope that this would be the final nail in that coffin, and it would get people aroused up. It would have the NBA strengthen its program even more, but I can't say that will be the case.
All right. Thank you very much. Mr. Wolf and